Look, I opened this jar of rotten baby food, and well, a butterfly came out.
He doesn't really have a sense of humor, so maybe I'm going to change my answer. He never punches up. He's always punching down.
Welcome to the Comedians and Elevators podcast. I've got my guest, George Stevens. George, say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm George Stevens. I'm a inactive lawyer, actor, mostly background, and customer service person in Los Angeles, California.
Well, that's a beautiful place to do customer service, right?
Well, yes and no.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So you ready to get started, George?
I am.
Listen, to my regular listeners, I know you don't like when at the beginning of these conversations I ask you to subscribe. None of us like it. I don't like saying it. I don't like it being in here. But it's frustrating. You know what else is frustrating? It's also frustrating when I look in the back end of the YouTube channel and I see the 56% of you that watch frequently haven't yet subscribed. And I know this because I see it in the comments section. You say things like, I didn't know I didn't subscribe. And that's actually what fuels the show. Basically, it's like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask all the time, because it enables us to build and build and build. And we're going for the long term here. Hit the subscribe button and we'll continue to build this show for you. That's my promise. Thank you to all you guys that do subscribe. It means the world to me.
All right. So the whole point of the podcast is to compare and contrast the comic versus the comedian. So I define the comic as any person telling funny jokes versus the comedian who's a funny person telling any jokes. So, George, would you agree that you start as a comic and evolve into a comedian?
I guess. I mean, I'm too much of a lawyer to nitpick about words. Um, when you say comic, I think of like a stand-up person. When you say comedian, I think of a comedic actor.
Well, it's interesting that you changed we say comedian, but then you went comedic. So the C at the end changes. So, it's two sides of the same coin. The idea is if we can separate them out, maybe something interesting would emerge, right?
Okay, sure.
So you ready for the first question, George?
I am.
All right. It's about the role of persona in comedy. So how much of the comedian's voice is a character versus the real self?
Well, it can be a lot or a little. There's comedians that use their voice in a way that's different from what you hear them say when they're on like a talk show. I'm trying to think of a character who had Robin Williams, it was more of like a whole body thing, but he had that character for Mork and Mindy, the Mork character.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not his normal speaking voice. He was really a rather intelligent, low-key man in private. On talk shows, he would kind of act out and do all kinds of voices. So
Right.
there's people like that who do all kinds of voices. But I don't think you have to do like stand-up people. Like I've been watching a lot of lady comics. I think in an email with you, I mentioned Angela Johnson. I also watched Taylor Tomlinson and a couple other ladies who are really good. But they basically use, except for Angela, she mimics her mom. She's got that famous nail polish salon bit that went viral where she does a Asian accent. So I don't know if that's what you're thinking of, like mimicry, but
Yeah, that for sure. That's definitely a part of it. So then does authenticity matter or is illusion part of the magic?
Well, again, I think it's both. I mean, there has to be some grounding to what you're doing for people to believe, to then accept what you do with another voice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise it can sound like you're just making fun of somebody,
Right.
like you're making fun of the way they talk. But if you ground it in something, like she starts that routine, it's really interesting. She starts that routine talking about her parents. So she mimics her parents first, and then she goes into the nail salon routine. And I think that grounds it because she's kind of subliminally saying, I'm not making fun of the way people talk. I'm enjoying how I react comically to them. And if she just started in with the nail salon routine, it might come off to some people as, oh, she's just making fun of the way Asian people talk.
Right. So speaking of, how about punching up versus punching down? So where do comics versus comedians subscribe to this? And let me put it in some historical context. Did a
Okay.
jealous medieval prince become the first comedian by killing the court jester?
Whoa. Uh, uh, well, I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Is that punching up or punching down? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Uh, well, gosh, I just don't look at things that way. Give me an example of punching up and punching down, and
Well,
then
is
maybe I,
criticizing dead people considered punching down?
yeah.
Okay, there it is.
Then there's always the thing that they tag on the end of it. Is it too soon? You know, like if
Right.
you do a joke about Lincoln in the theater, um, then maybe there's enough time where it's not punching down. If you do a joke about Charlie Kirk, uh, it's considered punching down. I mean, look what happened to Kimmel.
Hmm.
And fortunately, ABC was strong enough to resist getting rid of him. But they jumped on it big time. And
Got it.
I
So
think,
two of the three bit the bullet, is what you're saying.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So how about cultural translation of comedy? So how do jokes that work in one country bomb in another?
I think that's related to the whether it comes off as insulting or funny. Um, uh, I think let's see, if you went to Russia and made a joke about Putin, would you be on the street very long? I think not. But that's kind of a political aspect, maybe. Maybe that's a third category to
Hmm.
what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of another country where it would make a difference. North Korea, what's his face there? Um,
That's right. Was the movie that I forgot what was it Seth Rogen that he made, and
uh-huh.
it was banned from being in theaters because they were worried about a war, starting a war.
Yeah, yeah. See, and I think that's classified as a political reaction. They want to make something out of it. So if somebody from France comes to the United States, let's say it's a French comedian, just hypothetically, and they come to the United States and they get on Kimmel and they make a joke about Trump. Trump's going to get all up in it and try and make something out of it that, oh, this is so insulting. He came all the way to the United States to insult me on our
Beady,
TV,
beady, beady.
and this shouldn't be allowed. And that's another reason why Kimmel shouldn't be on the air, is probably how he'd react.
Something
Um,
like that, I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So is
Um,
he punching up or punching down when he does that?
the comedian,
No, Trump.
Trump's always punching up. Trump never punches down, in his mind.
Okay.
He never thinks he's punching down. Of course, he punches down all the time the way he insults people and makes names up about him.
Hmm.
Sleepy Joe.
Yeah. Nicknames.
That's punching down. Um, and he doesn't really have a sense of humor. So maybe I'm going to change my answer. He never punches up. He's always punching down. Did I say
Right.
that before? Or did I say it the other way around?
The
I
other way around,
forget.
but we got the gist of it. So then how does the silence when your joke doesn't land hurt? Physically, emotionally, morally, or spiritually?
Probably all those ways. What I can think of is when I've been in a play and uh, somebody, is supposed to have funny lines, and sometimes you just get an audience and they don't laugh at anything. And so you're just out there, uh, going through the motions, and there's no reaction from the audience.
Hmm.
And the main way I think about that is that it's it just shocks you to the core because it's like, oh my God, here I am out in front of these people and they're just not reacting, and is it me?
Right.
Is it the material? Is it something, in their head about, and it's audiences are really funny because if somebody laughs early, it's more likely more people will laugh for a longer amount of time is what I've noticed. Um, but if nobody laughs at like the first line that's supposed to be funny, it's so much harder to get them to laugh at succeeding lines. I was in a play up in Portland, Oregon, Northwest Children's Theater, and we did a version of Nancy Drew, Girl Detective. And I was Carson Drew. I was the father. And I wasn't in this scene that I'm talking about. And this guy, there's a scene where this guy who's an escaped convict puts on ladies' clothes and pretends to be a cook in the Drew household. And the very first night we did it, it just got incredible laughs. And it got a great write up in the local papers. Then the guy made the mistake of thinking, oh, I'm funny. And he started taking pauses between the lines. Whereas the first night it was just boom, 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 which is the way I think you have to do comedy. You have to hit the lines without waiting for air, waiting for space, waiting for people to think about it. They're either going to react immediately and think it's funny, or they're not going to like change their mind after 3 or 4 seconds. So the guy continued after that to start taking pauses between the lines, and nobody ever laughed. And he just ruined it because he decided to take over the way he thought it should be done instead of just doing it. And I think I'm getting way afield of your question, but
No, it
in
makes
that
sense.
in that moment, I was like embarrassed for the guy. And and I thought about going up there and saying, hey, listen, you just gotta go boom, boom, boom. You can't, wait for a laugh, and you can't wait for a laugh to end. They always say, wait till the peak of the laugh, and then as the peak starts to subside slightly, that's when you pick up the next line. You don't wait for the whole laugh to stop. So I know I was also in a production of Oliver, the musical, and I had to play the doctor. That was one of the characters I played, who goes in and sees Oliver in the rich guy's house. And it was just boom, 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 line after line. And the doctor was making presumptions about how Oliver felt, and Oliver was contradicting them and saying, no, that's not it. And I remembered this thing from the play at the Children's Theater, the Nancy Drew play, and I just, boom, we just went through it every single time, without a pause, and it was funny every time. So timing is everything, they always say. Now in stand-up, it might be different because if you do get big laughs, you have to wait for the subsiding of the laughs to start before you can pick it up again. And you don't want to step on a huge laugh while everybody's enjoying it, because you want people to enjoy what you're doing. So did that answer your question at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it did. So
Okay.
then how about love and justice? So is the highest function of comedy to expose injustice or to make people feel less alone while living with it?
Again, I like to go both ways on things. Certainly, like George Carlin, um, uh, who else was big? Oh, Dick Gregory for sure was trying to use comedy to, shine a light on injustice. Um, so there's people who do that. Now, Carlin, before he got into his social stuff, he used to do like the hippy dippy weatherman, when he
Hmm.
was when he didn't have long hair and he was on Ed Sullivan, before the whole hippie movement started. So he kind of did both. He kind of did just the funny part, and then he also did the social aspect of it. What was interesting I thought, about what he did was when he did the social aspect part, um, it was taken from what he observed as the truth of moments that he was talking about. He wasn't like making something up. Like
Hmm.
trying to say, oh, well, this guy's so bad. Look at, he's such a buffoon. He didn't say that. He says, he'd say something like, this is what this guy did. But do you people really think that, or, don't you do this or don't you do that? Um, I guess that's what I have to say about that. I'm kind of lost my train of thought there for a second.
No, you got it. So, very important question. Advertising and self-promotion. Who advertises themselves more, the comic, the comedian, or the magician?
You know that place where you're not conscious and you're not sleeping either? That's your power bill to the electric company. Right here. I want us to be here with free energy, where the Wardenclyffe Tower meets the Eiffel Tower. But that's not where we are. We are here, where you've got the utility and you've got residential solar. Between these two, we know which one saves you money. This is where we can go in the meantime. But this is where I want us to be now, and this can be done now. So let me deputize you to represent DOSE, Department of Solar Efficiency, and let's get on the podcast and get the message out today. See you soon.
Oh, first thought is magician, because they have to. It has to be a big, huge show. And it has to be a persona they've invented for themselves. And they've got to sell that for people to be misdirected and miss how they're doing their magic. So I'd say magician. And stand-up comics, I think, are pretty straightforward about who they are. I don't know that they're really, most stand-up comics, they dress the way they want to, they move around the way they want to. And comedians, now, when I say comedians, I'm thinking of comic actors. And they have to let somebody else sell them, because they're usually part of a movie or a TV show or something like that. So
Right.
they kind of have to ride, they kind of have to go with the flow, so to speak, of what the advertising for the show is. But then some people rise above it. I mean, Robin Williams rose above it. And, they created a whole show on him being so kooky on stage. He was much different off stage, I think. And I don't know why that was
Yeah.
so tough. That was so tough. And I still have a tough time dealing with what happened to him. It was really tough to digest, and it still is. And I always think, if the world is in such a state that that's what somebody like that does to themselves, we got to look deep and figure out something better. I'm sorry, I'm getting off cue.
Not at all. Not at all. So, George, what don't you want me to know about you?
What don't you want me to know about me? Oh, that's toughy. Because if I don't want you to know about it, why would I say something about it?
It's the only question asked, the most important question.
Well, I don't know. I might have mentioned to you when we were getting to know each other online about all the medical stuff I went through, and I'd rather get past that. So,
Okay.
so I guess that's what I'd say, although I'm free to talk about it. But it's not
Yeah.
a subject that actually, as part of my recovery, I can't dwell on it. So that's why I say that.
All right. Fair. That's a good way to put it. So, censorship and offense. So, does a comic avoid offense while a comedian courts it to prove a point, like a magician?
They definitely court it to prove a point, and even if it's offensive, free speech, you got to let it go. You can't try to rein it in, I think. I mean, that's what's happened with what Colbert's having his farewell show either tonight or this week sometime. And, they tried to do that to Kimmel. And because Trump, oh, it's offensive. Oh, this is so bad. He can't take a joke. And so have to allow the offensive, unfortunately. And there's some things that I don't like. I mean, but I'm not going to stop them from saying it, even
Right.
publicly, even on the air, on the network air or Plus Channel or wherever. So that's my response.
All right. So then who survives better in the cancel culture environment? The comic, the comedian, the magician, or the mudslinger?
Um, the magician, because they're going to survive in any environment, because there's an automatic suspension of disbelief right up front with it.
Hmm.
So what the surrounding circumstances of the world are, I think, affect it's like, if you go up to sorry about that. Uh, if you go up to what did I do to my image? I don't even
You're
know.
there. You're there.
I am? Okay. Um, uh, the magician, like if you go up to the Magic Castle, which I've never
Mhm.
been able to get in because it's so exclusive, but people don't go there to uh, they go there to be in a different state of mind than every day, or even reacting to something that's funny. So the magician's kind of a special case, I would say. Now I forget what the gist of the question was.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture. Um, Gosh darn it, I've got all this stuff on my screen and I can't see myself. What did I do? Hold on, I gotta maneuver a bit here for just a second. I'll get out of here. There we go. Okay. Um, well, I mean, it depends on the point of view of the listener. Trump is trying to cancel everybody, all the comics who make jokes about the way things are going in his administration.
Hmm.
He's essentially gotten rid of Colbert. He's tried to get rid of Kimmel, and it didn't work. I keep wondering about what's going to happen with Seth Meyers, because Seth is actually, I think, out of those three, he's the best at deciphering, the hypocrisy of what's going on with the Trump administration, and he's doing it and getting a lot of laughs. So, uh, but you can't cancel him. I mean, that's the whole thing. Trump is trying to cancel him, but you can't cancel him. It's free speech. It's
Right.
it's he's trying to turn everything upside down. He's disregarded the Constitution. He doesn't want a constitution, or he wants a constitution that's been rewritten by him and his cohorts. So you can't cancel comedians. You can't cancel stand-up comics. Um, what was the TV show? Let's see if there was a comedy TV show that. Well, you get offhanded comments on a lot of comedic uh, sitcoms, but I don't know that there's been one like All in the Family that like took on the conservative,
Hmm.
status quo the way that show did it. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was just going to say, so so when does a comedian cross into being a philosopher or a preacher?
When you become George Carlin,
Okay.
his journey, he was definitely a philosopher and somewhat of a preacher of constitutional values. I mean, his
Mm.
his most famous thing was the seven dirty words that you can't say because the Supreme Court said you can't say them, and
Hmm.
he took that on. And then if you look on YouTube, he's got all kinds of stuff that's actually, you know, foreshadowing what we're going through now. He's
Yep.
nailed it straight on the head, and you don't even have to be a comic to do that. You can be very uh, satirical or even snide about it. I'm thinking of Frank Zappa. He testified before a congressional committee, I think, and he has a lot of interviews where he talks about what's wrong with America. And this is going back to the 80s. He's not
Hmm.
talking about because he didn't live this long. But his comments are totally right on cue, and he can make funny comments during the discussion of that, but he's also being deadly serious. So, and he wasn't a comedian; he was a musician. Although a lot of his songs are very comic, and that's how I kind of got into him, was the funnier lyrics of his. But um,
So
that's, I guess, go ahead.
yeah, so is truth treasure in heaven?
Excuse me. Is truth treasure in heaven? Truth is heaven. Um, if you're not true, you're not going to get there, is the
Right.
way I look at it.
All right.
You gotta be true. I mean, if you're true here, you're in heaven. And then, your spirit will go to heaven too. If you're not true here, you got problems, depending
Speaking
upon
of
which religion you're talking about.
Yeah, speaking of problems, George, are you ready to enter the multiverse?
Now, say again.
Are you ready to enter the multiverse?
We're in the multiverse. We are there.
Are
I'm
okay,
actually
well,
reading. I'm reading a book now. It's a physics book, um, and it's about hidden universes, multiple universes. There's a physics theory called brain theory. It's not BRAIN, it's BRANE, like
hmm
membranes. And the analogy the writer uses is a well-known physicist named Lisa Randall. It's an old book from 2006, so I don't know what's happened in the last 20 years in physics, but um, she talks, her analogy is, imagine a sliced loaf of bread where every slice is a different universe. And there's actually um, physics theory that supports that notion.
Well, let's go there, shall we?
Okay.
All right. So, board game Zoomcast, play versus performance. So, you have to choose an avatar. So, if comedy were a board game Zoomcast, are you competing as the colorist avatar, adding tone, mood, and shading, or the Foley artist avatar, building punchlines with soundscapes and timing?
I'm the first one because I don't know that I'd be good at stand up. I don't know if I could build punchlines. I mean, I've known stand up comedians and they're writing jokes all the time, constantly, constantly, constantly writing jokes.
Right.
And I mean, I can write a joke here and there, but I can't do it steadily. So comics are really special people, I think, because of their ability to do that, to constantly come up with new material.
So then
Um,
does
when I,
comedy work better when it's painted vividly or when it's orchestrated sonically?
Vividly, vividly.
Uh,
Sonic, well, Sonic gets into the voice thing, I think.
right.
Um, but I think vividly is the more
Uh,
immediate way to use it.
all right. So, George, here on the Comedians in Elevators podcast, we have a tradition where the previous guest asks a question for the next guest. And the previous guest was Andy Smith. And his question for you, George, is what do you find most frustrating about the process of what you do?
Um, wow, what a great question. Um, Most frustrating um, is trying to eliminate distractions. That's it. Trying to eliminate distractions. And
Okay.
to me, that's most happens more often when you're on stage in front of an audience. So if you're a stand-up person, if you're doing a play, whatever, I know in plays uh, you're doing a run, you do so many versions of the play or so many nights of the play. And if you're distracted by a personal thought during the running of the play, you can totally lose your place. And it's like trying to run and catch a train that's already moving through a station. If you jump off and think about something personal and then try and jump back on, it's almost impossible to do it. Um, so that's to me is the toughest thing. Eliminate distractions so that you're always I mean, I play guitar a little bit. I'm a hobby guitarist. So when I play and sing songs for myself, I can tell when I'm uh, totally wrought up in the singing and the playing. And then if it's not going so well, it's because I'm thinking of something else at the same time. I always think that when you're doing something acting wise or comic wise or whatever, you're what I call multi-tracking. So you've got all kinds of thoughts in your head. You've got the material you have to do or want to do. But then there's all these things that happen to you during the day. And they might actually dominate what you're thinking at the moment when you're on stage. So that's the toughest thing, eliminating distractions while you're working.
All right. So last question, legacy. Who gets remembered? Will the comic's Type 5 survive time, or will the comedian's cultural point of view be more timeless?
Oh boy. Well, I wonder how many people know of George Carlin now, like Gen Z people. Um, I hope that what he said would be remembered, but unless you remember him, I don't know if you can get to what he said.
Right.
And I don't know, does that answer the question?
It does. It does. So, George, where can everybody find you online?
Gosh, I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm really not. I don't have like X or Snapchat or any of those things. I'm kind of a troglodyte. Um,
Okay.
and I think that's how we connected was through LinkedIn.
It is.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm on iActor. I've got an
Okay.
iActor page on SAG-AFTRA from getting my SAG card from doing background work, which was
Awesome. Awesome.
which was interesting how I was able to get my card.
Awesome. Well, George, thank you so much for being my guest. And for everyone, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Wait, don't I have to leave a question for the next person?
You do. I'm going to ask it afterward, though.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
If you're interested in too much information like in the network state or Mantipus the chicken shit, check out this video. Or is it this one right here? Well, either way. Lizard.